President Trump is trying a new strategy to restrict birthright citizenship. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, August 7th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. President Trump signed 2 executive orders on birthright citizenship yesterday. They are both intended to limit the principle that nearly everyone born on U.S. soil is a U.S. citizen. The Supreme Court in June rejected his earlier attempt to end birthright citizenship for some groups, ruling that it violated the 14th Amendment. In the Oval Office yesterday, Trump sharply criticized the court's decision.
I thought we were going to win it at the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we had a bad decision, very unfair decision. Our country suffers because of it, and we're ending it a different way.
Trump's new orders are meant to avoid legal challenges, but are likely to face them anyway. The first order says children would be ineligible for automatic citizenship if they are born to alien enemies, members of foreign terrorist organizations, or foreign lobbyists. The second order says children of people who fraudulently request tourist visas for the purpose of giving birth in the U.S. would not become citizens. If they stand, these new orders would affect far fewer people than Trump's previous attempt to limit birthright citizenship. A Senate panel voted to hold Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. That's our second story. In recent months, Fauci has faced growing pressure and legal threats from Republicans. Some accuse the former government scientist of not being sufficiently truthful in past testimony about the pandemic. Fauci denies that, but the issue came to a head last week when he repeatedly declined to answer questions from a Senate committee. He said he feared falling victim to a legal trap set by Republicans. Yesterday, the committee voted 8-7 along party lines to hold Fauci in contempt.
Senator Scott.
Yes.
Senator Hawley.
Aye.
Senator Moreno.
On behalf of the millions of people harmed by Anthony Fauci, resoundingly yes.
Committee Chairman Senator Rand Paul, a Kentucky Republican, said he would hand the panel's referral over to the Justice Department. So, what happens now? Fauci does face the prospect of legal prosecution, but the Justice Department is not obligated to act. Number 3. The Trump administration has refunded about $100 billion in tariffs. Back in February, a Supreme Court ruling declared that most of Trump's tariffs were illegal, dealing a blow to his economic strategy. Since then, the administration has handed major corporations huge refunds in response to that ruling. Apple has received $2.2 billion, Ford got $1.3 billion, and Amazon got $600 million. A disclosure, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. If this has you wondering, where is my refund? Don't hold your breath. Even though tariffs caused prices to rise on all kinds of products and services, most American households won't see any of the refund money directly. Only entities registered with the government as an importer of record or an authorized customs broker can apply. But if you paid a tariff on something you had shipped to you by UPS or FedEx, you might be eligible for some compensation. You can look up your tracking number for the shipment on the company's websites, and if the company's got money back for your shipment, they are supposed to send you the refund. Meanwhile, some companies have said they will use the refunds to reduce their prices, but experts say not to expect many price cuts. Number 4. The White House is drafting an order on childhood vaccines and autism. Republican pollsters have warned that vaccines are a divisive issue and a political risk for the party ahead of November's midterm elections. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine skeptic, has stepped away from public efforts to restrict vaccines. That was after a judge halted a previous effort to overhaul the childhood immunization schedule. Kennedy has been focusing on food instead, and we will have more on how that is going later in this episode. Anyway, Trump is nevertheless pushing ahead with efforts to change vaccine policy. According to 3 people familiar with the matter, White House officials are drafting an order that focuses on the vaccine schedule, research around autism, and parental choice. It's unclear when the order would come or what exactly it would do. Trump has questioned whether the number of childhood vaccines can cause autism, despite decades of research finding no link. Number 5. The Spokane wildfires pushed into neighborhoods that once seemed safe. In the past week, 3 fires have damaged at least 931 structures and forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate across the city of Spokane. A man has been arrested in connection with one of the fires. As wildfires have become more frequent and intense, places like Spokane, Washington, communities that once rarely burned or that many people considered to be safe, are now more vulnerable. Many buildings in the perimeters of the 3 fires fell into what had been areas considered to have a low or very low hazard of fire. Very low hazard areas are predicted to burn just once every 2,000 years. But drought conditions and unusually high heat have put more areas at risk. Firefighters in Spokane are continuing their efforts to contain the 3 fires before temperatures return to the high 90s this weekend. Avoiding 3 risk factors might buy you 13 more dementia-free years. That's number 6. The link between cardiovascular health and dementia is well established. Research shows that what's good for your heart generally is also good for your brain. Now, a new study suggests that avoiding a few specific risk factors in adulthood could allow you to live a greater portion of your life without dementia. The risk factors studied by researchers were high blood pressure, diabetes, and whether people currently smoked. People with none of the tracked risk factors skirted dementia for 30.1 years, compared with just 17.5 in those with all 3 risk factors. The reason could be that all of the risk factors in the study can damage blood vessels, which threatens the brain in several ways. The good news is that you have some control over these risk factors, for example, by not smoking and by making healthy lifestyle changes. And at number 7.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS Secretary. Welcome to The Real Food Show. Thanks to President Trump, we flipped the food pyramid and put real food back where it belongs.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has a new cooking show. As I mentioned earlier, the health secretary is focusing on the nation's diet. As part of that strategy, he recently launched The Real Food Show on YouTube. It promises to teach viewers how to cook nutritious, affordable meals at home, avoiding processed junk food and the dreaded seed oils. In the first episode, Kennedy is joined by California-based chef Andrew Gruel. He prepares a meal of salmon cakes with a white bean, apple, and arugula salad. Our food reporter Emily Heil tried the recipe and said it was good, but it took too long for a busy weeknight and created way too many dirty dishes. Post-columnist Monica Hesse had another take. She did the math and worked out that the show is a rich person's solution to a poor person's problem. What she means is that you can't say a recipe is $4.91 a serving when it actually requires an over $70 grocery haul. That's because even if the recipe only calls for 1 scoop of avocado oil mayo, you still need to buy the whole jar. Monica also says the show misunderstands why Americans eat poorly. It's not because they don't know salmon is good for you. It's that food is 33% more expensive than it was 7 years ago. But in any case, if you want to make some fish cakes this weekend, guided by a cabinet official, now you know where to look. That's the show for this week. The staff writers of The 7 are Jamie Ross, Izan Akabau, and me. Rennie Svirnovsky is our producer. Special thanks to Ashley Wilson. John Taylor is our editor. Copy editing by Kendra Nichols, Brian Malasics, and Victoria Craw. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here on Monday.